Good morning, world. Hello, hello, and hello again. Nissan Bulavinaka from Sydney, Australia. I am Sashi Singh, the host of Sashi Singh's Talking Point. Welcome to episode 49 of today's Sashi Singh's Talking Point. Well, Fiji, if you went to vote last Wednesday, 14th December 2022, your votes have allegedly been counted, tallied, and tabulated into a final result, which, as we begin our broadcast today, is still to be revealed to Fiji and the world. It was stated that the final result was to be announced at 6 a.m. Fiji time today by the supervisor of elections. Then we heard that it was to be announced at 2 p.m. Fiji time today. And now we've heard that it is delayed yet again, and according to Fiji Broadcasting Commission, FBC, the final results announcements have been moved to 4 p.m. today. It was scheduled to take place at 2 p.m. However, it will now be announced at 4 p.m. Fingers crossed, because from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. to 4 p.m., and there you go, there'll be so many more conspiracy theories arising out of this. Let me say a few things to you that this election, there have been so many conspiracy theories, so many doubts raised, and so many questions that have remained unanswered. For example, in the opposition leaders' press conference that was held yesterday, if you had not seen that, let me just summarize that opposition parties have been asking the supervisor of elections and the Fiji Elections Office for the official count numbers. And the press conference yesterday, present were the People's Alliance leader, pardon me, I'm not too well, but the show goes on. Present yesterday at that press conference, the People's Alliance leader, Mr. Sitiveni Rambuka, from the National Federation Party, their leader, Professor Biman Prasad, from the Fiji Labour Party, Mr. Mahendra Chaudhry, and from the Unity Fiji Party, Mr. Narumbe. So some of the things that came out at that press conference, the opposition leaders have been asking for the official count numbers. What was the total voter turnout at the election? Well, the supervisor of elections said, I'll tell you later. People wanted to know, opposition leaders wanted to know the total number of people who voted. No answers to that. And it was expressed that there was a total distrust in the result management system of the FEO. Well, one wonders what goes into that result management system. And then there was party agents had been moved out. Their tents had been taken out. A number of things, and of course, reference was made to the multi-observer group, the MOG, and the terms of reference. One very interesting point that came out was the fact that the European Union did not accept the terms of reference and decided not to take part in the Fijian elections. The subject of legitimacy and credibility of the MOG, the multi-observer group, was also put out at the press conference. And the real issue, one member of that delegation said, was that the opposition had won the election because when the total opposition votes were counted, they say that the popular vote from the public of Fiji expressed the view as to who should govern. But that is not the fact right now. Let me tell you, so far, this is what we have been able to establish from the Fiji Elections Office Results app. After the completion of 2,047 of the 2,071 polling stations on a result by party votes, the Fiji First Party continues to lead the 2022 general election results tally with 200,063 votes. 200,063 votes. This is 42.60% of the votes. In second place, on a result by party votes, is the People's Alliance with 162,929 votes, which is 35.76% of the votes. The National Federation Party lies in third place with 41,816 votes, which is 8.90% of the votes that have been counted so far. Sodelpa has 24,191 votes, which is 5.15% of the votes counted. The parties that will not make the threshold are Unity Fiji, which has 13,035 votes. Fiji Labour Party has 12,655 votes. We Unite Fiji has 6,049 votes. All People's Party has 2,620 votes, and the New Generation Party has 975 votes. Independent candidates Rajendra Sharma and Ravinesh Reddy have 198 and 80 votes respectively. Now remember, Fiji, this is the results of 2,047 of the 2,071 polling stations that have been declared on the FEO app so far. Before I continue, I have an important announcement to make. Sashi Singh's Talking Point SSTP recognizes that questioning, constructive arguments, and opinions are part of conversation, but posts with aggressive personal attacks, profanity, name-calling, swearing, defamatory in nature, and/or threatening will be removed immediately, and offenders will be blocked from being part of the SSTP program. Please let's observe these rules and enjoy the program. And I'll make a specific point today. The reason why that is important, not to get engaged in aggressive personal attacks, profanity, name-calling, swearing, etc. Today I want you to share your comments. What are your thoughts about the election process in Fiji? Who do you think should form a coalition government? And I will share some of these with the rest of the viewers. Keep those comments coming. So who would you like to see a coalition set up with? Right now, there's any possible number of scenarios. And who do you think should govern Fiji? Very, very important questions. Share your thoughts. Keep your thoughts clean, and I'll share them with the rest of the viewers. But let's move on. Remember, Fiji, a party can form a government if they win 28 seats or more. Now, from the figures released so far, projections of seats will be something along these lines. On the figures so far, the projected seats for the Fiji First Party is currently 26 seats. The People's Alliance projected number of seats that they may win, based on the current figures, is 21 seats. The National Federation Party, based on the current figures, the projection is for 5 seats, and Sodelpa, based on the current figures, the projection is for 3 seats. Remember, these are just projections based on the votes counted so far. If no one party reaches the 28 seats on their own, then without a shadow of a doubt, that's where the horse trading begins. That is where serious negotiations between parties to form a coalition government will be discussed. From news received from Fiji so far, the Sodelpa Party has had meetings with the People's Alliance and the National Federation, as well with the Fiji First Party last night. And they have also met, as I said, with the Fiji First. I heard from one source that meetings were taking place, even by 3:30 this morning, and that is to be confirmed. As I said, meetings and horse trading has been going on. We have been advised that the Sodelpa board has been meeting this morning to decide their choice of the political party to form the next government of Fiji. The Social Democratic Liberal Party, Sodelpa, has hinted that one of their proposals is to ensure the economic well-being of indigenous Fijians. General Secretary Lenaitassinduru has reportedly said during the campaign period, Sodelpa has emphasized bringing back institutions such as the Great Council of Chiefs to look after indigenous Fijians. However, in a FBC report this morning, the Sodelpa General Secretary Nduru has said bringing back the GCC is not necessarily part of this proposal, but it is on propelling the financial status of all Fijians, especially the indigenous people. I'll repeat that. The Sodelpa General Secretary said that bringing back the GCC is not necessarily part of this proposal, but it is on propelling the financial status of all Fijians, especially the indigenous people. So one may ask, is that a backflip where your manifesto stated that you needed to get the Great Council of Chiefs back, and here you are saying it is not necessarily part of this proposal? Now, during the SSTP interviews with William Ngavoka, the leader of the Sodelpa party, it was clearly stated that excuse me, folks, just coughing and sneezing away, my apologies to you. During the SSTP interviews with William Ngavoka, the leader of Sodelpa party, it was clearly stated that the restoration of the Great Council of Chiefs, as well as restoring Ratu Sukuna Day, was some of the priorities of the party. Now, insofar as the Fiji First Party is concerned, Bainimarama has always come forth and stated that there is no place for the Great Council of Chiefs in Fiji. The Fiji First Party got rid of the Ratu Sukuna Day holidays, and if one really looks at the beginning of the history of this whole thing, it was Bainimarama who got rid of the Narsey government. So it makes one wonder why Sodelpa would compromise on their manifesto and party principles and consider lying in the same bed as the Fiji First Party. Insofar as the relationship between Kayum and Ngavoka in Parliament is concerned, it was Kayum who called Ngavoka a weak leader. Let me try and put this on screen for you, just as a reminder. Let's just watch this for a moment.
Same leader, sir, Honorable Ngavoka, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Order.
This is the same weak leader of Sodelpa who justified outside this chamber Honorable Micheli Bulana Uda's racist comments, saying that the PM was a murderer, saying that the PM was a racist, saying that I was a terrorist, on the basis. Honorable Ngavoka said, oh, he said it because he feels very passionate about indigenous rights. It's the same way that Garase justified Daudau's comments in Parliament when she said Indo-Fijians like paragraphs. The same philosophy. He's justified. Stop saying please, because you're a weak leader. You are not based on principles and values. Unlike this man.
You're a weak leader, don't have principles and values. Well, that is what Kayum had called Mr. Ngavoka. And I wonder how that would play in William Ngavoka's mindset together with his board today. Now, you may remember that Mr. William Ngavoka, the leader of the Sodelpa party, also appeared on SSTP in episode 44 on 13th November this year. And we had set the scene for him, a possible scenario that is in fact playing out today. Let me replay that scenario for you. Bill, as the election campaign fever pitch increases, there is talk, and I've heard from some close quarters, that some members of your party, current members, are talking about a post-election coalition with the Fiji First Party should no one party get 28 seats outright to form government. Now, you are on record as saying that you will not rule out any party in their negotiations. Is there some talk of forming a coalition with the Fiji First if there's not one clear majority, and your seats that you acquire will be able to assist the Fiji First Party to get into government again?
So actually, on Fiji First, the answer is also no. That is a position with Sodelpa. Again, they are not for the GCC. They would not agree with the Itoke policies that we and I have covered quite extensively in this dialogue.
Sure.
So, as we sit here today, I say no.
Well, the man said as he sits here in the studio, or rather in that interview, no to a coalition or partnership with the Fiji First Party. Well, it may seem that the playmakers in the Sodelpa party may have revenge on their mind today as they move forward. Revenge for the walkout of the former Sodelpa members such as Sitiveni Rambuka, Linda Tambuya, Filimoni Vosarongo, etc., and the rest, who then went on to form the People's Alliance Party. Among some members of Sodelpa, the animosity is very deep-rooted. Now, in choosing between the devil and the deep blue sea, I have it from a good source that one Sodelpa member has said that at least the Fiji First Party will tell us straight in our face what their manifesto and policies are and what we are to them. We can negotiate forward for a democratic, social, and liberal transition process. Wow, great words indeed. Ladies and gentlemen, Fiji is currently at the crossroads at this very moment. If the current trend continues insofar as the votes for the remainder 24 polling stations, then Sodelpa will be the kingmaker. Right now, they have the role of the kingmaker. They have within their powers to decide whether the Fiji First Party rules Fiji for the next 4 years or if there is a change in government. And a coalition government of the People's Alliance, National Federation Party, and the Sodelpa Party should govern for the next 4 years. That's the ultimate choice. If there is something like common sense, then common sense would dictate that Sodelpa would look to see which partnership would ensure that basic fundamentals of freedom of speech, freedom of association, freedom of the press, the right to protest, and other rights enshrined in the Universal Declaration of Human Rights are going to be embraced in Fiji. As I was saying, Sodelpa should also address the issues that has been facing Fiji, such as the debt crisis, with debts sitting at close to $10 billion. Will their partnership with the Fiji First Party alleviate that problem, or will it escalate? Will they become a yes-man partnership? Sodelpa should look at the state of the hospitals in Fiji. What will happen to that? Sodelpa should be looking at the cost of living that people in Fiji are currently undergoing. Sodelpa should also be looking at what we have termed the abject poverty in Fiji, where some sources have said that poverty is currently sitting in the high 40 percentile in the country. There's a lot to be considered. Sodelpa should also address the issue of corruption in the country. And one very important part that Sodelpa should actually consider is the plight of the students and the current political agenda of the Fiji First Party to withhold millions of dollars of educational grants to the University of the South Pacific. Most of all, though, I feel, and this is my personal opinion, Sodelpa, being the party that it is, must once and for all ensure that in making its decision as to who governs Fiji for the next 4 years, decide on which party or parties will best serve the interest of the Itoke in raising their standards of living, in ensuring that the lease anomalies are looked into, in ensuring that a sense of fair play comes into the lives of ordinary Itokes and, for that matter, of the ordinary citizens of Fiji. Let me also make it clear, a final decision does not have to be made today. The horse trading can continue for quite a few days yet. I'll go to your comments at this stage and come back and address some issues regarding the supervisor of elections and the Fiji Elections Office. So let's go to some comments. Maureen Anthony writes, "Good morning, Sashi. What a week of anxiety for everyone. Looking forward to the program." Thank you, Maureen. Let's look for some pertinent comments regarding what's happening in Fiji as we speak. Remember, the final announcement has now been delayed till 4 p.m. And, Fiji Saspato says, all questioned been answered by Sanin. By 6 journalists left, right, and center yesterday, he gave the answer like a king. Well, that is your opinion, Saspato. Thank you. Kanchan Charan writes, RMS needs to be reconciled to pink sheets by an independent party. No other way to establish credibility of the results. Chandrasekharan writes, MOG is not independent. They have taken approval from SOE before releasing any report. Does one believe the report to be independent? Good question. And Vijay Singh, a former Sodelpa member, if I am correct, even a vice president, if I stand to be corrected. Who can bring GCC? We won them, he asks. Martina Vode writes, PA, NFP, and Sodelpa. And that thought is also shared by Vale. I've just missed that name, Vale. Vale also says Vitikawalu, PFP, NFP, Sodelpa Coalition. Michaeli Tuitonga, PFP, NFP, Sodelpa Coalition. Nikhil has written something. Incidentally, Nikhil is not in today. It is his anniversary, and he's been given a pass by SSTP. Nikhil, you should be celebrating your anniversary and not watching SSTP, but I know the interest is there. Let's see what he's written. The SOE has only himself to blame if people are calling into question the credibility of the count process. Why is he refusing to inform the nation how many people actually voted? If he could tell the nation the voter turnout on at least 2 occasions on Friday, then why can't he come out and share the voter numbers? He's also now delaying the final result announcement. The nation was told that the final result would be announced at 6 a.m. today, then at 2 p.m., and now he's saying 4 p.m. Why? And then you have this glitch issue and other anomalies. Well said, Nikhil. I mean, I've raised that in my introduction this morning. Oh, please don't even start about the glitch issue. That is the new word that's going around. Glitch. What? Well, I was just going to use profanity myself. I would have banned myself from this platform. Chandrasekharan says PFP, NFP, Sodelpa to govern. Mariseni Sinusere shares the same sentiments. GCC is not important now. What's important is getting the economy going. And that is Maritina Vode. Thank you for that. That's your opinion. Let's see whether people share your views. Esava Koroi writes, collision between all opposition parties should form government. Change the election laws is very important. Kanchan Charan writes a second comment. PAP would have made 28 seats on their own had the count been accurate. Well, that's a question that we will all ask about the count. Then we have Mike Jr., who writes, Sodelpa should think of its party members that were taken to prison. Yes, I've had that kind of message sent to me. Then Sodelpa's integrity is now on the line. Gavoka is now, we shall see if he's a man of his word or not. Yerusha Shalom has written that. Let's move on. Come on, Sodelpa, join in NFP PAP. That is from Linez Nainoka. Shalane Chand writes, to get rid of FFP, it's now or never. Leite Matandingo writes, Vinakabakulevu, Mr. Singh, for reminding Sodelpa, the Kingmaker political party, and make the right choice. We urgently need a new government. Now, somebody has mentioned the Suva Correction Center vote. I'm going to come to that, Paul Bololevu, in a moment. Unfortunately, I won't be able to put that on the screen, but I will. And if somebody can share that Suva Corrections screenshot with me, please send that across on the SSTP comment section, and I'll see if I can share that. But let's move on, and I'll come back to your comments, folks. Look, whilst we are waiting, we've been talking about the future of Fiji in terms of governance. Let me briefly look at the performance of the Office of the Supervisor of Elections and the Fiji Elections Office. All opposition parties have been asking for the total voter turnout figures. As Nikhil's comment said a short while, I read that, the SOE has currently said that he's going to make that announcement right at the end. The question is, why? Why would you make that announcement right at the end? You should have those figures right in the palm of your hands. The election polling finished at 6 p.m. on Wednesday, the 14th of December, and that figure should have been announced a long, long time ago. Supervisor of Elections, weren't you the person coming in at 3 in the afternoon, at 4 in the afternoon, and giving us the total figures? You were belting out figures left, right, and centers. Now, the figures for the total voter turnout, the pre-polled votes, and the number of total postal votes should be all known to the Supervisor of Elections. He has, I believe, declared the pre-poll votes. I believe he has declared the postal votes, which was around 6,800 out of 8,000 something. Why has he not declared the total voter turnouts? Well, as I said, you will remember that the SEO was very gung-ho on election day. And by mid-afternoon, he was announcing to the world that the voter turnout was low and was urging people to vote. When polling closed at 6 p.m. on Wednesday the 14th, sometime later, we were advised that just below 50% of the people, I believe around about 49% of the registered voters, had not turned up to vote. Now, that was alarming to say the least. Now we are hearing, and I stand to be corrected, but this should come out in the final wash this afternoon. I am hearing that the turnout for these elections could be somewhere around the high 60 percentile, somewhere around 65 to 68 or 69%. Wow. The question is, if the figures released right after polling closed, that about 48, 49% of the people registered to vote had not voted, and now we are getting figures that say around 68% people turned up to vote, just can't reconcile that. Help us, Supervisor of Elections. Why is that a secret? Now, someone has brought that Suva Correction Center result. Now, I'm sure if I go out of my, all right, before I go out of my comments here, let me read some more comments, because I have a feeling if I go to the Suva Correction Center on the FEO site, I'm going to lose all my comments here. Now, Kapil Dutt writes, get rid of FFPP. That's your opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. Sex Cody writes, we need that change. Pisa Nangatalevu writes, PAP, NFP, and Sodelpa, please. Sarah Bakalala writes, Fiji needs a change. Bobby Narayan writes, Narayawa Village Community Hall, valid vote 116, total candidate vote 233. Well, there you go. I mean, that is something similar. So, Paul Mbololevu, Kerikeri Kemuni, if I could get you to please just, oh, here it is. Right. So, the Suva Correction Center, and all of you can look at this. If you go to the Fiji Elections Office app, and if you go to results by venue, search for the Suva Correction Center. And if you look at the vote cast, and I looked at this 2-3 times, the vote cast is 240. Invalid votes are 2 votes. So that makes valid votes 238 votes. Then, if you look at candidate results for that particular center, the Suva Correction Center, and remember, 238 valid votes at that center. Well, the results for Josiah Warengembani Marama, 332. Now, how could that be possible? If you say the total votes cast is 240, invalid votes are 2, that leaves 238 votes for that particular venue. And then when you look at candidates' votes, Bani Marama's vote is 332. Well, it just goes. And as I just said, we had another example just given by one of our viewers, Bobby Narayan, who says, Narayawa Village Community Hall, valid vote 116, total candidate vote 233. Well, Supervisor of Elections, please explain. You are paid big dollars to handle Fiji's elections. You've been doing this now for some time. You've had 4 long years to get this right. And on the night that it really counted, you called it a glitch. Well, we accept that a glitch happened. But how do you account for discrepancies of the sort that my viewers are pointing out to me? You must answer these. Let me move on with more comments here. Let's keep our comments clean. Let's keep profanity out of it, please, kere. And let's not swear at people. We are at a turning point, Fiji. We need to use common sense approach. Let's not defame people. Let's not call people names. Mac Vakatawa says, who is pulling the string for Sanim? We have been waiting for the weekend for the result. And please, Sodelpa, please make up your mind and let's move on with our lives. Vakasaranga, Matanitu Kalo has written, a new slogan has come out of this election, glitch me, baby. Don't glitch me, baby. Take the bloody glitches out, that's all I'll say. Param Sivanganda writes, of course, Fiji needs a change. Sex Cody, bind my PEP, NFP, and Sodelpa all the way. Rahul Sharma writes, we cannot live in fear anymore. We should be free to criticize the government and not worry about CID coming to take you in for questioning. Which brings me to another reason. By the way, for all of you sending your emojis, your hearts, your likes, some with your angry faces, if you have, look, thank you very, very much. Keep them coming. Those of you sending stars, to you, I'd like to say a big Vinaka Vakalevu for your stars. Thank you very, very much. We will continue with this platform for a while longer. Good comment, Rahul. Why should people live in fear? And the fact was, I was absolutely shocked and astonished that right in the middle of counting, Mr. Sitiveni Rambuka, as well as Mr. Nditoko, and the president of the Methodist Church were taken in for questioning. Now, that in itself raises a lot of questions. We will leave that part of the fear part of that element there for now. As I mentioned, reconcile for yourself the venue voting for the Suva Correction Center. Amio Ramakosoy, you've written in the vernacular, can't read that. And I would suggest to people, don't write in Hindi or Fijian, write in English so other people can share that with you. Limas Naginoka writes, we need a real democracy in Fiji in which we can protest and all voices are heard. Alisi Mudinimbitu Haunga writes, give the voters the benefit of doubts. Do a manual recount. Well, Alisi, the supervisor of elections, has been saying for the last few days that the counting, they're all manual. It is all manual counting, and the app doesn't do the counting. The app only publishes the results, but it's like anything else. The results, what you feed into that machine, into that app, is what's going to be churned out. So something that is being fed is perhaps not right. Excuse me. Thank you. Well, Nitesh Nand writes, results of 24 polling stations are yet to be out, and it's hard to predict since we don't have the total number of votes. You're absolutely right, Nitesh, because that is the dilemma. Had we all known what the total number of votes were up to this point, we could use the Duhon calculator and work out. Now, right at the end, if you give us the numbers, there is no transparency, there is no accountability. How in God's name will we know, what has been done? I mean, let me also say to you that I will shortly make mention of the chances of Sodelpa. So let's just continue. Makarita Ratu writes, PEP, NFP, and Sodelpa. Chandra Deo, Kingmaker at the moment is hero. Adolf Lobandan writes, PEP, NFP, SDL. Chan Reunion, Chan, haven't heard from you. Governance and transparency. Yes, indeed. Two big words. Ray Rish says, any government come in power should treat Indo-Fijian equal because it's been 160 years Indo-Fijians have been in Fiji. Respect your opinion, Ray Rish, and all citizens are equal. And Fiji's Haspato have come back. That was one of the first comments I read. Now saying Sodelpa and FFP are forming the government. 100% confirmed news. Well, we will see. Bobby Narayan says cast vote should have been known by now. Should be on the second day. Well, I'll come back to your comments in just a moment. Rumors are rife in Fiji about party agents, and the rumors are that party agents have been asked to vacate the counting center this morning. SSTP has not been able to substantiate these. I tried to make a few calls to a few party leaders, a few party general secretaries, and my calls have gone unanswered. Unfortunately, people in Fiji are not answering phone calls today. Well, at least not SSTP's phone calls. Now, as I said, there are so many questions that the SOE must answer. However, it seems that our supervisor of elections is trying to act as the ringmaster. He's the circus master in the current scenario where he is commanding the grand performance in front of an overseas media. So much so that he gets into an attack mode when pertinent questions are asked. Questions that I want to put to you. Why was the official announcement of the final results pushed back from 6 a.m. today to 2 p.m. and now to 4 p.m. Fiji time? What is the reason for that? Was it to allow certain players more time to negotiate deals with Sodelpa? Is that the reason? I can't stop asking those questions. Another very interesting scenario that arises is the fact that is in the final wash. What will happen in the final wash when the supervisor of elections makes that grand announcement? Remember the remaining 24 polling stations, the results, in fact, don't hold your breath. I don't think it will happen, because if it happens, then the answer is finished. It's decided. However, should the remaining 24 polling stations decrease the Sodelpa votes to below the 5.15% that it currently holds, then the question comes up, will they make the threshold under the D'Hondt calculator? Because if they don't make that threshold, then Vakandua, Saochi Saranga, because then the People's Alliance and the National Federation Party votes would be deemed sufficient. If the current trend continues in the 24 remaining polling stations, the two parties will be able to form outright. However, as I said, on current trends, the Kingmaker is the Sodelpa party because currently they stand to gain 3 seats. On its own, the People's Alliance and the National Federation Party cannot form government. The Fiji First Party cannot form government. And therein lies the choice of Sodelpa. Which way will they go? Well, here on SSTP, we were hoping that by the time we went to air today, normally our normal starting time was 11 a.m. We pushed it back to 12 noon today. So in Fiji, it would have been 1 p.m. And the reason we pushed it back was we were expecting the final results to be analyzed. And we were hoping to analyze the final results and hopefully use that window of opportunity to contact a few of the key players, hopefully some leaders of the opposition party, to interview them, a short interview, and get their thoughts and feelings on how things have panned out. Now that the results have been delayed, let me state that we will shortly, very shortly, shut down. But you must listen to this very carefully, please. We will shortly shut down because I don't intend talking for the next 3-4 hours, poring over things that we've already discussed. We will shut down shortly, but I'll go through your comments. And I have one big kere, one request. Keep watching the SSTP page because I will put a announcement as to when we will come back today. We will definitely come back. We will share with you what the final results are. Hopefully, we can get somebody to agree to come and talk to us. However, we will have an expert analyst with us. So we will come back on Facebook Live and on YouTube. We will share the formal results. And as I said, watch the announcement, and perhaps half an hour or an hour after the announcement, I'll give you the time, we will be back. And when I return, I will have an analyst with me, not just any analyst. This gentleman is refined. He's done this over the years, and he is none other than Professor Wadan Narsey. Professor Wadan Narsey, academic and a professor of economics. He has also been a member of parliament. He knows his politics very, very well. I wanted to share something that Professor Narsey shared with me, but I don't have his permission to do that. Hopefully, he'll be able to share that with us when he's here. It was his plea to certain people in Fiji earlier today, his plea for the welfare of Fiji. But I won't steal his thunder. I will let Professor Wadan Narsey speak to you himself this afternoon. So I hope you can join us in the next few hours, shortly after the results are announced. But I go back to your comments, and yes, unfortunately, some of the previous comments were. I'll just try and get some technical assistance here. Just bear with me one moment, please. And I'll see if I can. Let me just, if you can just go further up, and I'll tell you some more, a little bit more. And okay, grab a seat, and if you can help me with these comments here, because on my phone I cannot see those. And right, let me read some of these comments. Now, some more, if we can go further up, please, and I'll acknowledge peoples. Keep going. And I'll tell you where to stop. Keep going. You're watching Sashi Singh's Talking Point, and we don't have any guests, but later on this afternoon, we will have some guests. And right, I've got our technical assistants, our mastermind, our master controller helping me here. And we'll just have to call it, okay, let's just stop and let's do it from there. All right. So let me just share some more comments here. Nithya Reddy writes, the highly combative, confrontational, politically charged, rude and personal responses of the SCO has destroyed all semblance of independence and impartiality in his constitutional position. He has been unacceptably defensive. Thank you for that comment, Mr. Reddy. That is, that is your views. Nandu Naidu writes, why FEO did not publish number of eligible voters in each polling station. This would greatly assist to identify the number of voters who did not vote or voted exceedingly. Blossom Roman says, and have the same for another 4 years? Not good. I believe you're talking about having the same government in place for 4 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, Blossom Roman. Thank you very much for that comment. Just check the app. This is right. Big error. That is Ray Loney or Lone. I guess you're talking about the Suva Correction Center. If that's the one you checked, well, thank you for verifying that. And John Timber or Timbai, I can't see that far. My eyesight is failing me, has written, you're not in your ancestral land to be treated equal. The indigenous Fijians own the land. You give them respect for your protection. Well, John Timble, I don't know what are you talking about. And if you can make sense, well, let's see. Grubsheet has written St. Francis needs to be investigated. Yeah, I think I need a bit more information. I must have missed the earlier comments, Mr. Grubsheet, and I must say, Grubsheet has been putting out some fantastic articles on the Grubsheet blog site. If those of you who have not, if you've not heard of Grubsheet, go onto Facebook and on the search button, search for Grubsheet and read articles. Very pertinent points are made by Mr. Grubsheet himself. And Mr. Grubsheet, when I hang up from this program and before the resumption of my next program after the results are announced, I will be making a phone call to you. So please stand by for that. Vinal Reddy writes, it's the first time in Fiji's history we Fijians do not know the true election result. What the overseas officials they are watching, I guess all are in the same boat. Johnny Timble, shut up. Look, Dan Tupo, please, I can understand your sentiments. Don't tell one of my viewers to shut up. If there's someone that I need to shut up, I'll shut them up, and I'll even remove them if I have to. Mohan Singh, reinstate FFP and Sodelpa, must form coalition to form government, in my opinion. Well, Mr. Singh, that is your opinion, and I respect that. You're entitled to share your views on this platform. Tuisam Beto, right, the SOE is playing game. He can not be trusted. He's related to KU. Both are communicating to each other in mobile. Now, Tuisam Beto, we don't know that. That is not a fact that can be verified by us, and we do not subscribe to what you are saying. We don't have evidence, and without any evidence, let's not cast aspersions. You may have suspicion, but let's not say that. So I'm not going to even regard that. Let's move on, please, Master Control. Keep going. We need some comments. Slowly. Talike, no profanity, please. Do not use those words, Talike. Bobby Narayan has come up and said, Coronivia Service Station. Valid vote 1,105. Candidate vote 1,465. Bobby, look, thank you very much for sharing that. I will check into that a little later on. Perhaps, viewers, if you can verify that as well. Coronivia Service Station, valid vote 1,105. Candidate vote 1,465, which brings me to a point. The multi-observer group, whilst you're saying everything is free, fair, honky-dory in Fiji, why don't you yourself look at the app? And it's simple. Look at the app, look at the Suva Correction Center app, look at the one that we just looked at, the service station results, and tell us, ask questions. Why? I mean, when you think of it, can a fair dinkum result be announced today that we, the people of Fiji, can say with our hand held high, yes, that's the result. That is 100%. Look, let me say something at this juncture. If the results are free, fair, credible, and if the Fiji First Party wins, I'll be the first to say good luck to them. You know, they deserve to win. If everything is fair on board and they have the numbers to form the next government, good luck to them. But with 101 questions that remain to be answered, how can one expect to accept the results? I mean, there's so much of dirty water being cycled right now that one only has to look for a Genola bleach to clean this up. And how do we know that things are on the up and up? We don't. I mean, like I said, one of the first things for credibility, the Fiji Elections Office ought to have announced what was the final voter turnout. My Lord, we could have got that on Wednesday night. We could have got that on Thursday. We could have got that on Friday. We could have got that yesterday. Today is Sunday. We still don't have that. The supervisor of elections is saying, we'll come back to you on that. Looking at comments again, please don't go there, Nick Hill. Glitch me, baby. No, don't. Don't go to glitch me, baby, because I don't want any glitches. Jeshmesh Singh says, rest in peace, Fiji first. No, let's not do that. Ellie Reed, Sashi, I'm losing my patience with Saneem. He's supposed to be neutral, but sounds like he's siding with the Fiji First Party. Well, we all have opinions, Ellie Reed. As I said, we all have opinions, but I respect your opinion. But he's there to do a job. He's there to do a job, and let's see what comes out. As I said, there's a lot of questions to be raised. Satya Reddy writes, MOG is here to ensure or testify that the election was free and fair. They must ensure that the entire process is seen to be free and fair. Clearly, the actions of the FEO have raised grave concerns about this. Where is the MOG now? That in itself is a cause for concern. They are no longer seen to be independent. Aggie O'Connor, thank you for your comments, Aggie Vinavalevu. To those of you sending your emojis and your stars, particularly the stars, thank you very much. Umesh Chandra says, looking forward to his analysis. Yes, of course. That's a reference to Dr. Wadan Narsey. Professor Narsey will join me when we resume our broadcast this afternoon after the Fiji elections result is formalized. Whenever it's formalized, if he goes to 6 p.m., we'll be back at 7 p.m. If he goes to 8 p.m., Professor Narsey and I will come back. Even if it is for an hour's broadcast, we will come back because let me tell you, Professor Narsey has a number of things to share with you. And Sex Cody has come back and said, love to hear his views. Sex, bet your bottom dollar you won't miss a thing because we have some things in store for you. And well, thank you, SSTP. God bless. Paul Smith, thank you very much. Zoo Khan says, go Fiji first. Zoo, appreciate your comments. You're welcome to it. And Nirmal Singh Chima, one of our former chief guests, says, you have contributed immensely in strengthening our democracy, Sashi. Nirmal Singh Chima, that means a lot to me. I've done my best in trying to get to the people of Fiji first-hand information from the horse's mouth, and you contributed on SSTP, Nirmal Singh Chima, and to that I'm forever grateful, and thank you very much, Nirmal Singh Chima. Niraj Mudliar says, Ngavoka should do what's best for the country. Well, Niraj, that's what a lot of people are saying. Look, at the end of the day, it's not even a toss of a coin. It's not heads or tail. Lives of the people of Fiji depend on this one decision by Sodelpa. I can understand that there are certain players in Sodelpa who have deep-rooted animosity, deep-rooted hurt that they have been harmed by Sitiveni Rambuka and some of his current members who have walked away, who've brought trouble to Sodelpa. But in the same token, there are certain members of Sodelpa who are keen to forge that partnership with the People's Alliance, to get back to their roots, to get back into governance. This is an opportunity they have. Either way, if they form governance, the question remains, what effective role would they play in a Fiji First government? Would Sodelpa be content to take a ministerial portfolio or two and suffer like the Silent 25 did, to play a cursory role in the governance of Fiji, to pass legislation using Standing Orders 51, to just denounce just about everything they had in their manifesto? Are they actually prepared to do that? If you are a Sodelpa supporter, if you are a Sodelpa member in Australia, in New Zealand, in the USA, where you've been sending your hard-earned money to Sodelpa in Fiji, what are your views this morning, this afternoon? What do you say? Do you want to see Sodelpa Fiji side with the Fiji First Party? Send your comments to me. I'll be on here for a little while longer and I'll share those comments. Please, if you're a Sodelpa supporter, tell me, what do you want Bill Ngavoka and the management board to do? Do you want your team to go with the Fiji First or to have a coalition arrangement with the NFP and the People's Alliance? I'd love to hear your views. Now, all right. Dev Narayan says Fiji First all the way. Thank you, Dev, for your comment. Jay Sen Shah, three-party coalition for a change. And, excuse me. Well, thank you, Nirmal. He says, I was very privileged to be part of your program. Mariah Blackstuff says, if you're still with the Fiji First Party, something must really be wrong with your mental state. No, Mariah, don't say that. People have the right to choose their political parties. People who are aligned with the Fiji First, they have reasons to, and they're entitled to that. So let them choose, and let's not criticize anybody who chooses some other party. Kapil Dutt writes, we don't want two-man government. Sefo Tanuku, thanks Ashi for stating facts. Eti Sulu writes, corruption. Eli, well, there's a lot of people who have spoken about corruption, and we need to get to the roots of that. Now, it reminds me of the Sodelpa manifesto. So many things were raised in that. But let's keep moving. Eli Naivua writes, Vinaka Sashi, PAP, NFP, and Sodelpa to form new government, and if not an interim government, to run for 6 months to conduct another general election to elect new government. There in Orion, they fought and spilled Sodelpa. How can they work with three-party? Vineshwar Prakash, great work, 16 years, waiting results to run country for another 4 years, Fiji First. Thank you for your comments, Mr. Prakash. Zhu Khan, well said. Diapers in government should be changed frequently, says Rajneel Karan. Rajneel, well said. People have been saying time for a change. Vaka Sangara Matanitu Ninkalo writes, Sashi Singh's talking point. Please also invite Grubsheet along with Professor Wadan. Looking forward to the afternoon. Or it could be evening, but I'll need to come back to you on that. We just need a leader like you, Professor Biman, Mr. Rambuko, or a leader that talks sense to the common sense space. God bless Fiji. That's from Nainoka. Thank you. Chico Sungamai, agree with you, sir. Sefo Tanuku, bruh, 16 years without any economic growth is enough, period. Sai Vulawalu writes, Sashi, before the glitch, PAP were leading and seconded by Fiji Labour Party, then FFP was in third place. After the glitch, there was a massive discrepancy. I don't want to feel that FLP has been robbed of our votes. Well, FLP have not made, unfortunately, anything close to the 5% threshold. And I was hoping to talk to Mr. Chaudhry, but I'll see what happens in the final vote countdown. Jack Charles writes, Sashi, it's amazing that the machine had a glitch only once, not that it's going this way. Green light all the way. Polam Levu says, sorry, Sashi, app is updating. Paula, it'll be interesting if the app is updating, whether they've corrected that. And obviously, most of us have a screenshot of that. And if it's corrected, well, let's see what it comes up to. Mariah Blackstuff says, Grubsheet is just awesome and very informative. Thank you, Mariah. He is indeed. That's Mr. Graham Davis. Thank you, sir. Jagendra Kumar Jagrup says, thank you, sir, Mr. Sashi Singh. Jagendra, thank you. It's my pleasure. And let's just quickly do some more comments because people have taken the time to write, and I thank you for that. Petro writes, Petro Tui Ni Rama or Rama. This will be an election of no trust and dishonesty from the SOE. He is really headache working on orders. Losana Tawake. Has any government in the world ever governed its country for 16 years and more? Aren't they bored already? Well, we've had dictatorships around the world that have gone for a long, long time. One that comes to mind immediately is Robert Mugabe. And that is perhaps something that I should get Mr. Graham Davis to talk about. Choe Wanga writes, thanks heaps, sir. You're welcome, Mr. Wanga. Sefu Tanuku writes, well said, Sashi. If transparency was in place from day one, we'll accept the outcome. 100%. And yes, like I said, if it's all transparent, above board, you put the results in front of me to show that the Fiji First Party have won, I'll accept that result. That for the next 4 years, the Fiji First Party have won fair dinkum, and then the people of Fiji have decided, and it's that decision of the people of Fiji that needs to be respected, and away we go. Fiji First, you go and govern the country as you deserve to do. Let's move on. Multi-observers just had a good holiday in Fiji and goes back to the luxury they enjoy. That's from S. Mbola. Ellie Reed says something doesn't sound right, especially with the election. Well, yeah, it just doesn't, Ellie. Come on with all these racist comments, Hindus or Muslims or any other race in Fiji. We've always lived together in peace. Please stop with all racist comments, Vinaka. That's from Elena Warenge Wanga. Elena, I agree with you 100%. There's no need to bring racism into this calculation. Only option now is Garboko for Prime Minister, PAP, NFP, and Sodelpa. Look, I'll accept that. Make Mr. Garboko the Prime Minister for 1 or 2 years. Why not? As long as it's all fair dinkum. As soon as I said that, I saw this love that Aussie slang, Sashi, fair dinkum. Well, yeah, fair dinkum is fair dinkum, but right now, we don't have a fair dinkum. We don't have a level playing field, it seems, and that is my opinion. And I stand by that because a number of questions need to be addressed. And Sai Vuluwalu writes, can I just take you back to 2018? I served as a polling agent in Namaka Public School, where we told that there were only 500 ballot papers issued, out of which 240 ballot papers were used. And 238 valid due to the 2 invalid votes. Yet they call the presiding officer to call Suva and say that 756 votes for FFP. So I think that is what's happening here now. Wow. Well, these are frightening things if people, what they're saying is absolutely true. Let me just move on, folks. Nina Moreno, you always send stars. Thank you very much. Vinaka Bakalevu, your stars bring smiles to my face. Thank you, Nina. All right. Well, we won't know the total number of votes. Someone's asking. Let me just move on, folks, because I'm going to. Rocky Maharaj wrote, Grubsheet is biased. He likes calling Indo Fijians names. When he's challenged with the Hindi vernacular, he deletes and blocks their comments. Rocky, while I can accept your comment, let me tell you, Grubsheet has a rule. On his Grubsheet blog, no vernacular is allowed, neither in Hindi or Fijian. And that's the rule of his page. And if he chooses to set those rules, those boundaries, he's entitled to it. I ask people not to post things in Fijian on my page because people do not understand what is being discussed. And that is a fair comment. If it was a Fijian vernacular page, by all means, go to town and you can make those comments. Let's look at a few more before we sign off and we come back. Reginald Ravikash Singh says, lots may not make any comments until the final figures are out. Well, let me ask you, Reginald Ravikash Singh, why not? Why can't we not question anomalies that meet us straight on? Why can't we ask questions of the supervisor of elections? Why can't we call a spade a spade? Why can't we discuss things? If you do not want to discuss things, if you do not want to make comments, that's your choice. But let us discuss things. It's taken too long for people in Fiji to live in fear. It's taken too long for people to be quiet so that they don't offend anything. Reginald Ravikash Singh, I appreciate your comments on SSTP, but let's just leave it as to that. Now, I've just received a message that the final figures are out now. I perhaps will be able to access it here. If you just bear with me, folks, let me see if I can access the final figures. And because this is not radio, and we can't play advertisements, we can't play jingles, I can't even come in with a song. And I don't have those final results at this stage. Someone just sent me, because what I have in front of me is still 2,047 of the 2,071 polling stations. So I'm not going to comment on that, but I can say here that this is as per the report of Fiji Village, the Fijian Elections Office final handover of the 2022 general election results, which was scheduled for 2 p.m. today, has been rescheduled to 4 p.m. The FEO says it is in the process of quality assurance of the results. FEO says it is in the process of quality assurance of the results, as well as allowing time for parties to peruse the results so that if they have any issues, they can raise the same with the FEO. This was first scheduled for 11 a.m. today, as I said, then moved to 2 p.m., now moved to 4 p.m. Certainly hope it doesn't move to 6 p.m. The FEO says they anticipate that this schedule is not going to change for today. Now, Supervisor of Elections Mohammed Saneem had said that the count was completed yesterday. Before I went to bed, I had heard that the count had been finalized and that it would be announced at 6 this morning. Well, people have been sending me messages. People have been saying, if the count has been finalized, why isn't the SOE and the FEO announcing it to the world? What's happening? Negotiations taking place? Well, the FEO says the process of quality assurance has been going on. That's wonderful to note. And to all those involved in the Fiji Elections Office and the Supervisor of Elections Office, we are waiting with abated breath. We certainly hope that we hear fair income results this afternoon. And no, I still don't have that update of the latest results. I believe someone has also sent me a message that the final results have been published. Well, folks, you can go to the Fiji Elections Office and have a look. And let me just see if I can update that for you. And I apologize if I'm struggling here a little bit because, as I said, I don't have the facility of, it's not a radio. I can't play advertisements. I can't play a fill in song. And some people are trying to call me. Please don't call me because I'm using my phone for this broadcast. And Joe Kalo Sr. has said, get rid of the coup culture. Biman Prasad or Chaudhry for PM. Joe, thank you very much for your comments. Look, folks, there's a lot of comments. Ellie Reed has said, thank you, Sashi. It might be a long afternoon going to McDonald's for coffee. Ellie, thank you very much. Enjoy your Maccas. And hopefully we can tune in sometime shortly. Kenneth Zink, Nimbulavanaka Kenneth. If we have a re-election, can they invite Australia and New Zealand to run it? Well, Kenneth, who will set the terms of reference? Let's face it, when the terms of reference for the multi-observer group was set up this time, the European Union decided not to be part of that multi-observer group. Was it because the terms of reference was too controlling? Was it too binding? Was it for some other reason? Well, we'll never know until we go and dissect the terms of reference. But interesting point you raise, Kenneth, and I thank you for that. Well, transparency should have started from day one of the election. Kaleram Bathiwale writes that. Vinaka Sashi, looking forward to your next session with Dr. Narsey. Thank you very much. Mick Chand says, my apologies. Mick, I must have missed that. Paul Mbololevu, Paul has just written and says they have corrected the Suva Correction Center results. Oh, Lord, if they've corrected that one, then how does that impact on the final result? Have they dropped Bainimarama's votes by X number of votes? These are the things that the supervisor of election should publish and say, Suva Correction Center venue had a glitch. These were the number of votes we gave to Mbai, and these were the number of votes we've corrected, and this is what the final count is now. Let us not be quiet about it. Kalera Mbatiwale, Isa Kalera, thank you very much. You've sent some stars across. Really appreciate that. And thank you, Sashi. You're doing a great job. Vinaka Bakalebu says Sai Bulawalu. Sai, thank you so much. God bless you. Paradise Rental Rights. I think you are good and happy overseas. Stop exaggerating things here. Let the important people make proper decisions for Fijian. God bless Fiji. Paradise Rental, let me tell you, for you and your supporters, you can go and take a running jump. You know, I am a Fiji citizen. I have a right, God-given right, to have a say on who governs my country. The fact that I am in Australia is none of your goddamn business. I have a right to have a say in the governance of my country, and Paradise Rental, you're hiding behind a damn company name. Don't even share your name. Get off my platform if you don't like it. You know, good and happy. Let me tell you, Fiji has been a very unhappy place. That is what we've been hearing for the 1 year of broadcast that we've been doing. You must be running a rental car and you must have a good standard of living, sir. But that does not mean that 40% plus of people who are at a poverty level are enjoying the same life that you are. Don't get precious with me. good and happy overseas, as I said, take a flying jump. All right. Now, Semessa, Nohelau Semessa writes, Sodelpa shouldn't be selfish to collate with the Fiji First just cause they want a place in government. It should be in their heads that this was the very party that illegally removed them when they were in government. Well, let me tell you, if they go with the People's Alliance and the National Federation Party, Nohelai Semesi, they will form government. It's not that if they don't choose Fiji First, they won't form government. Yes, they will. If they go with a coalition with the People's Alliance and the National Federation Party, they will form government. Eric Singh writes, call it as it is, Sashi. Well, I only call it the way I see it. As I said, you prove to me that the votes are 100% fair dinkum, legitimate, above board. And if the Fiji First Party wins, I'll be the first person to say, congratulations, Mr. Mbani Marama. You have the right to lead the Fiji First Party into government for the next 4 years. That's what it is. Now, moving on, I saw a few comments that I'm searching for before we call it. We've been going for an hour, 15, 16 minutes. Let me just finally come to a few more comments here. I'm just flipping through the comments very, very quickly. And again, I say to those of you who've stood by me, thank you very much so far. Now, let me remind you, we will close in a few minutes. The announcement in Fiji is supposed to happen at 4 p.m. That is now confirmed. And when that happens, we will observe what is happening there. We will analyze it, and we will come back. Hope 4 p.m. there is 3 p.m. Australian time, and hopefully we will come on air at 4 p.m. Australian time, which will be 5 p.m. in Fiji. Either 5 p.m. or 6 p.m. in Fiji. It depends how many phone calls I've got to make and how many people I can arrange to come and join us. One thing is for sure, Professor Wadan Narsey is going to join us this afternoon, and one thing is for sure, pardon me, is that Professor Wadan Narsey will be joining me. He will be providing an analysis. Now, one thing I will say, whether it's 40 odd, 49%, or whether it's 35% of people who registered to vote and who did not turn up on the day. This time around, there was perfect weather. Let's say God's blessings on voting day to go out in beautiful weather to vote. You had a public holiday in Fiji where you had to vote. Here in Australia, we go to vote on a Saturday. It's a working day for some people. People have to make sacrifices to go to the polling stations because here, voting is compulsory. If we don't vote, we get fined. However, those, let's say 35 to 40, 45% of people, you took the trouble of registering, going to register to vote, yet you did not go to vote. So let me say to you, whichever government you end up with, you do not have the right to complain, to moan, to groan, to witch and bitch about it. You just do not have that right. You have abrogated your rights to complain. For the next 4 years, whichever government you get is the government you deserve because you failed to exercise your right to vote. Those of you who voted, I salute you. You've exercised your democratic right to vote. And to you, I say, thank you. You have a voice in the governance of your country. And as I said, we will be back very, very shortly. And, well, we've come to the end of comments. There's a number of comments, short comments, that I haven't addressed this afternoon. There was one that I was searching for and I couldn't find, and I thank you for that. Elena Carter writes, enough of FFP. We need a breath of fresh air. Current air is too thick and suicidal. Don't commit suicide, please, whatever you do. Life is far more precious than that. And so let's just say for now, I'll say goodbye for a short while. I will certainly come back. Just a little bit, and yes. So you've been watching SSTP, Sashi Singh's Talking Point, on this Sunday, the 18th of December. We were hoping to have a final wrap up in today's program. We couldn't do that. We haven't been able to do that for reasons obvious, because the final results are supposedly coming at 4 p.m. Fiji time. And another issue that I haven't even touched on is postal ballots. I received my postal ballot and I sent it in. I read this morning someone from Auckland sent their postal ballot. It reached DHL. Tracking shows it reached on 17th of December. It had to reach by 6 p.m. on 14th. That is now finished. It's an invalid vote. I mean, who's going to tell us how many of those postal ballots have been disregarded? People overseas, some of them, are saying to me, we haven't even received our postal ballot. Well, a number of things. Look, I can talk for a few hours if I have to, but we'll take a break. Let me go and make a few phone calls. Let me see if I can arrange one or two other guests for this evening. I really, really thank you, all of those people. We had 800 plus people watching us. I thank you all for being a part of today's unfinished business, today's unfinished episode. We will be back very, very soon in the next few hours. It's 23 minutes past 2 in Fiji. So let's just wait an hour or so and we'll come back. Daven Nand says, very well summarized, Mr. Sashi Singh. Daven, thank you very much. Appreciate your comment. Nina Moreno writes regarding the postal ballot. Mine was sent on 12th of September. Received mine. Oh, sorry, your counting goes the other way around. You're in States. Mine was sent on 9th of December, and I received mine on the 15th of December. I sent it back. Well, why was it sent so late? All right, Eric Singh says, have a break, mate. See you later. Yes, Eric, thank you very much. I do need a break. Got to go and have some liquid refreshments to oil that vocal cord of mine. Joe Colo Sr., Joe Vinavalevu Kemni, we'll see you soon. All right, Fiji. All right, world. We'll take a little break. And Chandrasekharan writes, final result from 2071 Center is out in FEO app. Thank you, Mr. Segran. We will go and have a look at that, and I'll come back to you. So for now, Sashi Singh's Talking Point host, Sashi Singh, saying goodbye for now. Please promise to join me later on. Watch out for that SSTP, and I'll give you a time soon as we've sorted things out. Cheers, and have a pleasant afternoon wherever you are. Thank you for now.